And now some weeks have gone by or months have gone by.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is we have to go back to it again.
Yeah.
Why?
So I think we were so prepared. It was just like, it was a rhythm, right? We're talking about it every week. We're getting into it. And a lot of the agents felt empowered.
Yes.
And then, once they're trained up, we move on to the next thing. But what happens is that over time, as the agents start to face skeptical buyers and also other, I don't want to say uneducated, but I guess agents who haven't been trained the way we have on the buyer agreements.
Right.
You come across them asking questions and not fully understanding what the compensation or concession portions are of the agreement. And I think that it has taken some of our agents by surprise, and we could do some warming up in terms of like handling our objections and even educating those agents that we come across,
That's something that, we've talked about before, where my father coming into the industry, there were people that mentored him, and he always took it to be a really important factor to help turn around and pull up the agents that were coming in behind him and educating them. As even he was doing transactions with them, he's basically holding their hands. He's like, hey, is this your first time? Like, yeah, okay. All right, we're going to put this deal together. The seller's going to be happy, the buyer's going to be happy, and you're going to learn something along the way. That's kind of what you're saying, because you can go through as much, we can do all the training in the world. Once that training meets the real world, and that's what you're saying. Like we have to identify where the training differs from, meeting that, the people where they're at in the real world.
Yeah, and it's something that we talked about yesterday, even down to like when you get your real estate license, right? You're studying for it. They teach you the acreage. They teach you
how many square feet are in an acre, right?
Yeah. They'll teach you like even the construction of home, but nobody's teaching you how to strategize, like how to build your business. How do you get to X amount of deals at the end of the year? How do you strategize when your open house is empty? What do you do when you have all these showings and no offers? But so
what do you do when you're at an open house by yourself running it and there's a line out the door and you gotta
pivot, right?
There's pivot. They don't teach that.
Yeah. So I really do think that it's probably something that I'm gonna have to reintroduce to the team is just a refresher, right? And not just to the team, but I think buyers too, and that's why I like to gear a lot of my content towards education, because I think that for so long, from what I've seen, us as agents and clients, home buyers, are they're still thinking that buying a home is as easy as just having someone open the door for you and just going in there, right? But what does it actually mean when someone's negotiating on your behalf? If you do walk into the house and you love it, you can envision your life in it, and it's time for the next steps. What does that mean for you as a buyer if you actually have someone in your corner versus not? And so that's what I want.
Yeah, because what has happened is, I think from the point that you're trying to make is, we have these exclusive buyer broker agreements. We have now these new ones, or we have a whole series of different ones that people can choose almost from a menu, right?
Yeah.
And like, what does each one mean? And having a buyer who's just like, I just want to see this house. Like, why do I have to sign this thing? You could understand why, a consumer's first thought is like, why don't I just go to the listing agent, right? Why this agent I never met before is trying to get me to sign this thing that feels kind of weird. I don't like it. So it's up to us to open the minds of the buyers and educate them to understand what their rights are, what is ideal for them. Like you were saying, like, do you want to go straight to the listing agent? I mean, when I have a listing, my fiduciary responsibility is to the seller, not you as the buyer. The idea that you're going to get some kind of special treatment or get a deal is just not the case necessarily.
Yeah.
Versus having me on the buy side representing you as a buyer's agent, knowing how to negotiate, you're actually going to get value out of that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going straight to the listing agent, you might as well just, if you're paying cash, just open up your bank account and say, this is what I got, take it all, or your pre-approval, this is my max, take it all. You might as well just open up your wallet to them. But when you have a buyer's agent, you have somebody who's keeping the cards close to the chest.
And only sharing the card
Yeah.
that needs to be shared at the right moment
Yeah.
that benefits you. But not just any agent is equipped to be able to provide that level of service. So all you're trying to do is have the agents be responding to the marketplace and kind of like what exists out there as a reality, and then try to have them understand where our niches and our place is within the reality of that marketplace, to have them understand that we're on their side.
Yeah. An analogy I like to use, as we tested out yesterday, was like when you're married to someone, that's an exclusive relationship, right? You're bound to them and you have certain responsibilities to this person, right? There's loyalty. I mean, I guess our fiduciary duties, right? Like loyalty, confidentiality, obedience, even, I guess, I know there's, I know that there's a lot of obeying from my end, and there's so many, you have responsibilities to your spouse, right? But then if exclusivity, right? Which is the main one. Now, and then duty to account, right? Because you gotta be careful with each other's money too now, right? Because you have responsibilities together. Whereas if you're non-exclusive and you're dating, your responsibilities are not specific to one person, and they're not necessarily owed all those responsibilities that you would give to your spouse, right? So, and it's the same thing with representation in the marketplace. It's if I'm exclusively working with you, I'm dedicating my time, my efforts, my resources, my everything, my skills to you and to winning you a house, the house of your dreams. Whereas if you're going the non-exclusive route with an agent, first of all, you can be with as many agents as you want as long as you disclose who you're working with, but the fiduciary duties are not in play. You're basically just having this person open the door for you, and then
I mean, look, all the things that you just mentioned is like a benefit to you as the agent, but then what happens there is you become incentivized to help them, because if you know that they're working with me on seeing these other homes, but they might go see this other agent, and that agent might benefit from a transaction down the line, and I might end up with nothing. How dedicated, as much of a professional as I am, how would I be incentivized to do my very best to represent you? That's that's part of the problem.
No, that's true. And I understand the hesitation, right? Like you say, you're showing someone a piece of paper, you're like, sign with me, work with me. But then the key becomes why, right? That's the question. Right. Why should I work with you? And it's up to us as an agent who is, as agents who are experienced and knowledgeable in the industry, to show them the why, right? And show them, especially us as a team. I encourage all the agents, especially new agents, use our stories, use our backgrounds, use our history to help guide your potential clients, because our wins are your wins, because we all support each other. There's so many times where even if you do get a new agent on our team, they're calling us. They're calling us for support. They're calling us for guidance. So it's not necessarily about whether they have, I guess, the sales to back them. It's about the support they have, the education that they have, the skills in negotiating, right? Because I mean, I can teach anybody anything, but what I can't teach them is that passion. And I find that the most successful agents on our team have a passion, a drive to really support the buyer. And if you present that when you're going through your buyer consult and saying, like, I know I'm the best fit for you because X, Y, and Z. This is what we've accomplished. This is what I can accomplish for you.
I don't want. That was some extremely strong, poignant thoughts you just had there. Some points that you just made, right? One thing that you just kind of like dropped in there, but I don't want to let it like go flying by, was that buyer consult, because I think that's the key to everything. I mean, you have to have the passion, you have to have the desire, you have the training, you have the backing, but you have to be able to ask the right questions, explain things in such a way where that buyer goes, huh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, no, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about it that way before. That's when you know, like, that's when I know if I've done a good job that buyer's like, okay, we're ready to like run into the trenches and
Yeah.
go get them a house, really, because they get it and they understand, and I don't have to convince them of anything. It's like, all right, we're on the same page. We're all the cliches. We're rowing in the same direction.
I
All the
know.
ones I like to use.
But you know what I think is wild? I think
What?
it's crazy that people will go the extra mile to they'll go car shopping to different dealerships.
Yeah.
If they got to get any work done to their house, they'll get quotes from different contractors. You'll shop around for anything. Oh, I'll try all these different stores to find that one product that I like. But when it comes to looking for an agent, a lot of people don't realize that they should be interviewing their agent.
Yes.
They're just like, I don't want to sign anything. Why don't you ask? This person's supposed to win you the home of your dreams.
Yeah.
Just sit down with them
Yeah.
and ask them questions, right? Ask them about how can they make your dream a reality. What experience do they have or where they come from, that will help guide you that way and help you win the home of your dreams, help you get your family into that school district you want, help you get the pool that your kids love to swim in and a space for the dog to run around. I always remember that because my dad used to say that all the time. We'll get a house and you can have a dog that runs around in the backyard. You can play. And anytime I was in the backyard, he was like, "Don't run on my grass."
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, but that's the dream, right?
That's the dream. All right, cool. Well, you know that when you can look into a camera and say, interview the agent, that means we have the confidence because we have the history, we have the story to back it, right?
Yeah.
Like we have the reviews.
I think when we went to Zillow, it said like over 80 something people just go with the first agent they meet.
Yeah.
And while, listen, that's great. Some people are making great first impressions then.
Well, we're getting in front of a lot of people, and that's why we're their first agents. Very often they're getting not lucky because we have this, we put ourselves out there, we market well, and we have this tremendous relationship with Zillow. Zillow has chosen to partner with us.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those buyers are working with us because we're the first agent that they met for good reason. But I mean, this is a national statistic.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, listen, I think, like you said, Zillow is the number one real estate website. And when you have a company like that, that's like saying, Apple, right? Like when you have a company like that and they choose a specific team, you don't question that, right? It's like when Apple says go to the Geek Squad, you're gonna go to the Geek Squad, right? Those are the people who are gonna repair all your Apple products, and you don't question it, but you'll question if you have to stop at like some little shop in the mall, right?
Right.
So it's like that. Like if Zillow's partnering you with somebody, it's because this force of a company really believes in this team to provide that service for you.
Yeah.
That what did he say? There was one of the Zillow people said a white glove service, and I love that.
Yeah.
That just says it all for me. White glove service, because it's your results are all about the way you make people feel, the way you listen to them, the way you can really retain the information that they share with you in order to, again, just deliver the 5-star service and get them into their dream home.
Really quick, for anybody that's watching this, one of your big issues is that you have such a huge heart. You are so dedicated to your training, to taking care of people, to holding people accountable, and you've had tremendous success in the last year helping agents achieve their goals. And one of your big problems is with the number of leads that we get and the opportunities that are coming our way, we do not have enough agents for you to kind of like take under your wing. You have a need for it. Who's your avatar? Like who would you be looking for? Or if they're out there watching this, what kind of characteristics does this person have that you would love to meet and talk to about an opportunity to be on this team?
Oh, characteristics. First of all, I think, there are a few actually. Organization. Like, and the organization is such a broad thing, but
Yeah.
an organization has to do with everything from having your day set up, your calendar set up, your database clean, like just being so organized where you know that every single thing is taken care of and everything is set up in such a way that you can function throughout your day so smoothly.
What else?
Drive. Like I said, I can teach anything. I can teach anything, but what I cannot teach is drive. That passion, that fire in someone who's just gonna fight to the very end, and not look at somebody and say, "Oh, this is too hard." They find it like a challenge, right? I'm gonna find this person this house, and then I would also say someone who's open to learning. Because real estate is ever changing. It's always changing. Just in a matter of the last 3 years, we're going from, oh my God, here, I'll give you my baby so you can give me this house, to like, ooh, okay, we only have 2 offers. Where are we going to go from here? How do we negotiate up? So while real estate is changing, between market conditions changing, buyer representation changing, the property condition disclosure for the sellers. I mean, there are a number of things that we've been hit with in just a matter of like a year and change.
Yeah.
And we always have to adapt, right? Plus the technology, AI. So someone who is open to all that learning is always going to do well because they're a chameleon. Right, and they're always changing and able to go with the flow.
And
able to go with the flow. I think that's a big one.
Any others? Is that basically it?
That's it. But if I had to add one more, like the cherry, I would probably say like someone who's able to control their emotions, because this job this career is. It's so hard on your emotions, sometimes on your ego, sometimes but someone who can control their emotions and understand that the wins will, I guess, solve for the moments of letdown.
Yeah.
Those wins are really like
I find that
powerful.
I find a lot of people we talk to that want to be on the team, they want a career that's meaningful. Not just earn money, but have something like worthwhile, and certainly helping people achieve their dreams of home ownership or selling a home and all those things. It is meaningful. But if it's meaningful, it means that it's probably also hard.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yep.
And if it's gonna be hard, you have to be part of the solution, not just the problem. If you're emotional, it's important. Like, obviously we're human beings, we have emotions about it, but then we have to put our hat on where we go, yes, but if I remain emotional, how effective am I going to be in providing that service that we're trying to provide?
Yeah.
I think it's a really great point. That's like that's kind of like a new way of describing it.
To your point, I heard a few days ago somebody say something like, there's no job harder in the world than being a mom who's alone and has to for her kids has to be strong, never be sad, be happy and proud of her kids, and always push forward while her kids are watching.
Right.
And I feel the same way as being an agent. Like, I'm like, I have to, my client is in tears because there's mold in the basement. And this is the home of their dreams, and they have a month left on their lease, and we can't close on this particular house for 2 months, so they got to find a place to live in the meantime. So this is really their only option.
Right.
And I can't break down either, so I have to be that like knight in shining armor for them. And our agents also have to be, those knights in shining armor for their clients. I mean,
I have one.
Yeah.
Because those are all wonderful points, and I think you nailed it. I would just add, when I look at the team and I see across a spectrum of people, one of the things that they all share in common is energy.
Yeah.
Just full of energy.
Yeah.
And I think that translates to the public when you meet somebody and you're just like full of energy, and not just like crazy frenetic, but like just this, you mentioned before about having drive and just nonstop, let's go, let's do this. energy to take somebody by the hand and like pull them with you to
Yeah.
get the job done. I'd say that's the only thing personally that I would add to that list. But I mean, that's a tremendous list. So anyway,
Yeah.
thanks. I appreciate you
Thank you.
sharing this.
Yeah, this is great.
Awesome.